I sort of think about myself in some ways as like the world's expert on founders. I have done everything I can to try to, figure out how to have really productive relationships with founders. And Jeffrey's the founder, I'm the CEO, so I'm not actually a co-founder. And the reason I think I could have negotiated for that had I wanted to, but it was his idea, right? It was his idea, and so I thought it was the right thing that he carried the founder title. So I think it's a very fraught relationship, right? You've got to figure this out. And even if you had co-founders, what are the 2 or 3 of you guys going to do? And so at the beginning, we knew Jeffrey was going to do content and I was going to do everything else, and effectively run the company. And he's spent 40 years in Hollywood. Quibi would not exist without Jeffrey. And so then the question became okay, so if he had a point of view on the UI, or he had a point of view on the advertising, or he had a point of view on, how we went out and pitched advertisers, how do you incorporate those views in a way that there's still clarity on who is the final decision maker? Because as you guys know, the deadly sin for organizations is when people do not know who's in charge. And we've all seen it happen many, many, many times. So we've just had to work it out. And honestly, we laugh from time to time because we say, if we were 40 years old, we would have killed each other by now. But we've been around for a while, we've had our career successes. And so we have, there's a couple sort of tactical things we do. We have a meeting at the end of every day, regardless of whether we've seen each other 3 times a day. In the meeting, we still have our half an hour every night from like 5:30 to 6 or 6:30 to 7 or whatever it turns out to be. And we're very honest. We're very honest. You cannot pull punches. You have to say, you just drove me crazy when you did that today. And why did you do that? And, I wish you hadn't done that. And, I wish you hadn't made that decision without me, or whatever it happens to be. So it's in some ways not dissimilar from a marriage. It's open, honest communication, and you actually have to trust each other. It's not the easiest thing, because Jeffrey and I are completely different people. Jeffrey is a right brain storyteller. I am a left brain analytical thinker. So we come at things at 100 degrees, 180 degree opposites. And it is our superpower when we get it right. But, I'll give you a perfect example. I will say, Jeffrey, do you have any data to suggest that what you just said is true? And he'll go, no, I don't, but I know that it is. He asserts. And then he will say, Meg, not everything yields to analysis. And I will say, not everything does, but most things do. So it's this sort of back and forth. And honestly, he is incredibly assertive, and I am incredibly I can't assert without data. So it's a very interesting dynamic and works pretty well most of the time. Not every moment of every day, and there's been a few things that we had to sort of work out, particularly in the beginning when we learned how to work with each other. But it's gone pretty well. There are days, but most of the days are good days.
Okay, awesome.